Hello, welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 12 of season 2020. This is a layout update video focusing on the power plant area in Rochelle. I've been working on Rochelle for quite some time. I started about 6 months ago, back in October of 2019. And I've just been kind of going down the line and adding roads and buildings and details for the entire city of Rochelle. Rochelle takes up a pretty major portion of the layout. It is 24 feet long with a depth of 34 inches. And I started, as I said, back in October, and I have, at this point, 17 of the 24 feet done. So from the Del Monte way back there in the distance, all the way through the crossing area here, the railroad park, and now the power plant, that takes up 17 feet, and I still have 7 feet left to go. So I'm getting near the end. You can see the unfinished portion there. But this video focuses on the power plant area here in Rochelle. And this encompasses mainly putting down the concrete area there that the power plant is sitting on, as well as some some asphalt area for the parking lot, and then also the street under the overpass, which is also asphalt. So I've been working on all that area. Now, I have actually modeled Rochelle before on a previous layout. I had a layout that I built together. I called it the Rochelle Sub back between 1997 and 2008. And so a lot of these buildings I put together and assembled and modeled back in 2003. So this water tower here I built in 2003, and the power plant itself I built back in 2003. The water tower is scratch built, and the power plant is kit built. Don't ask me what kits I used. It was so long ago I don't really remember. I also added in the Steve's Auto Repair there, as you can see. So in 2008, I tore down the old layout and built the Geneva subdivision, and I've been working on that for the last 12 years. And it's taken me 12 years to get to the point where I'm modeling the power plant area again. So the power plant and the water tower have been neglected over the last 12 years, and I've had to do some repair of the buildings. That brick building there, by the way, the office area for the power plant is from a Walthers kit. They have a warehouse kit, and that's the office area of the warehouse. Here's some video from my Instagram account that shows the construction of the paving area around the power plant. I used Woodland Scenics paving tape to act as a form for the plaster. And I had to put the paving tape down the middle also because it was too wide of an area for the form smoothing tool that I have there. Here you can see I have all the plaster down. It's not sanded yet here. Again, this is from my Instagram account. Make sure you sign up for that if you haven't yet, or follow me. I left the area under the water tank grassy as per the prototype. Here you can see the paving tape forms down for the road under the overpass. This was a area where I had to cut the sections apart, so I also had to put in some plaster to cover up the cut between the two sections. And then you can see I have the road area down using the Smooth It system. a lot of plaster for this area. I also extended the First Avenue under the overpass. So this is how it all looks with all the plaster down. Of course, I had to sand it and then put in the grass area around it, do some painting. I painted the area immediately under the power plant concrete, and then the parking lot area and the road under the overpass and the rest of the roads an asphalt color. By the way, the water tanks there, not the water tanks, but the fuel tanks around the power plant are a Walthers kit. As you can see, a lot of damage done to the water tower. The railings and the walkway got completely knocked off. This is how it all looks now, with the concrete painted, all the grass in around it. Also put chain link fence around it. The chain link fence is by Gold Metal Products. They do a lot of different kinds of stainless steel and brass etchings. The chain link fence is a stainless steel etching. Here's a satellite view of my layout, and I did that to kind of show how I used the actual satellite photo to kind of decide how to lay things out. I didn't do this on the original layout back in 2003. Now you can see here, this is an area between the road, the overpass, and 9th Street is 630 feet. The layout is 290 scale feet, so I had to do a lot of compressing. I was not able to include all the buildings, but to give me an idea on how to lay out the concrete under the power plant and then the asphalt area. Now, here's some information on construction of the water tower back in 2003. A friend of mine, Steve Dilling, who still lives in Rochelle, was able to get drawings from the city of Rochelle that we used to construct the water tower. And we used the drawings to figure out the shape of the water tank, and he used a lathe to cut the water tank out of a block of pine. And then I added wood dowels to that and put the water tower together. I also was able to take some pictures of the underpass, or the overpass. You can see the street there, by the way, under the overpass. But I took some pictures of all the support areas under the overpass and then used my compass and ruler and drew a template for the supports. I used the template to cut out pieces of styrene, and then I laminated the styrene together to form each of the supports. That was back in 2003. Here's how it looked back in 2003. Actually, it was about 2008, right before I took it down. Here's a good picture of it, which actually ended up as a cover for Model Railroader, which I have hanging in my train room. That's how it looks today. So between 2008, when I tore that layout down, and today, the water tower and power plant went through a lot of damage. So I had to repair the water tower. And one of the things I had to do was completely replace the walkway. I had knocked the thing over I don't know how many times. And so I just took out the walkway and was able to cut out a new walkway. That's a 3-foot wide walkway, scale feet. And then I added the railings back in there, used Gold Metal Products railings. Also was able to add, now this is some improvements done to the water tower. I added a safety cage around a ladder. Now this is from Train Cat. I had bought this before they stopped production. So I was able to put that on there, and then also use a Plastruck scale ladder to go up the side of the water tank. And then I used Gold Metal Products railings to put railings around the very tippy top of the water tank, and added some antenna. And then also put in a cable along the back there and then down to the little house. I was also, in repairing it, had to replace 10 cross braces that had been knocked off over the years, and 2 horizontal braces, and 4 footings. So those all had to be replaced as well. So it's repaired and also improved. In addition to the power plant area, I also added some details to the railroad park. You can see some people I added. I have the display locomotives. That's not an exact replica of the display locomotive. I went on Shapeways and found some locomotives that looked as close as possible to what the actual locomotives are. There's 2 of them there in the Rochelle Railroad Park. The bigger one's actually a Swedish locomotive, but it's the closest I could come. And also added some figures. You can see the gazebo there. Added some people to the railroad park area. Repainted the sidewalk, which had gotten kind of beat up. So I was able to add some nice details to that area, but you can see how everything kind of fits together here in Rochelle. The water tower definitely looks better repaired and also looks better with the added detail. So let's take a look at it as a train goes through. Here we can see a crude oil tank train pulled by 2 Cottle SD70 ACEs. You see I did some weathering on the parking lot there. I put a patch down the middle, which actually is there on the parking lot, and then put in some cracks in the asphalt. Also added the parking blocks or parking stops by each parking area. Here you can see the BNSF switcher. One thing I also did recently is put a push button in the fascia here so that the BNSF road crew can push the button and they can actually set the signal for themselves. You can see the signal flashing red, which is the most restrictive, permissive signal, so that the BNF switcher can go through the signal bridge here. These are BNSF signals. So this is a way for the BNF switcher to set that signal before it goes through the signals and then back to the interchange track. It doesn't actually go across the crossing, but goes to the interchange track. Another thing I wanted to kind of add here or to show is I had a space here that was empty. I wasn't sure quite what to put there, so I decided to put a BLMA cell tower. And I got 3 of those, and I thought this would be a good place. I also put a little chain link fence around it and a little pathway for maintenance. Here's a little area there around the crossing. That's me by the signal utility shed there. That's usually where I like to watch. Also was able to add all the pictures on the backdrop for each road. And also, this is Steve's Auto Repair, and was able to put a picture there. Good place to put a lot of old vehicles. Those are old Bachmann vehicles that aren't very to scale and don't look that great, but it's a good place to put out in the distance and in an area that is a lot of junky vehicles. Also was able to get a couple of garages from Shapeways. Haven't painted these yet. Here's one I put. There is actually a garage there, and then also have one sitting here. I need to paint those. But Shapeways is a good place to get different structures. They have a lot of different garages that you can get. And then lastly, I wanted to just show what I have left to do. I need to put this street here. I think it is 7th. No, I think it's like 6th Street, which is a main drag down the downtown area of Rochelle. Also need to do this little industrial area here. Yeah, it's a Total Logistics Control, Heinz Lumber, Rochelle Cement, and then this is the BP Oil. I have some train cat oil loading and unloading facilities that I'm going to be using for that area there. So not only 7 feet of Rochelle left to do. So this is what I'm going to be working on next. All right, so let's wrap it up with a webcam view. If you haven't yet, check out the Rochelle webcam. This is kind of what it looks like going across there. But this is a good way to end the video with a train going through. This is a manifest train being pulled by 3 cottles. It looks like the crude oil tank train's around again as well. So overall, it's coming out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with the way everything's turned out. Stay tuned to this channel as I continue to model this area of Rochelle. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to always enjoy the best hobby in the world, model railroading. Have a great day. Take care.